What's up, guys? We have some crazy NASCAR news and silly season news to go over today. And not just news do we also have some absolutely crazy rumors to go over. Alright, so let's do this thing. Let's start with what I think the main topic of this video is, and that is Matt Tifft will not be returning to Front Row Motorsports next year. They have mutually parted ways because Matt Tifft wants to focus more on his health. We already know that he's out for the rest of the season. There's only one more race left, and John Hunter Nemechek has been in that 36 car for all three of the races. He has been out because of his blackout and him helping his health. And next year he decides to not be in that car, at least full time in NASCAR at all, to help his health. And I completely understand health first, especially if you want to be in this sport. You know, you need to have your health. And this opens up a lot of questions, though, because we know Nemechek has been in this car for these three races. So now that this car is open, that leaves two, possibly three Front Row Motorsports cars open next year. And there's only three of them. So we know that Tiff's out of this one for next year, and we know David Reagan's out of the 38 for next year. The 34 is still iffy with Michael McDowell. Well, let's say Michael McDowell stays in that 34. Well, they have the 38 and the 36 open, so, you know, maybe another possibility is that Front Row drops to two cars, because this year they only went to three cars because of Tifft bringing in sponsorship, but now he's out. So it's possible that Front Row drops back to two cars, maybe just the 34 and the 38, keeps McDowell in the 34, and put John Hunter Nemechek full-time for his rookie year in the Cup Series in the 38 car. I mean, that's very possible right there, or the 36, whatever number they want it to be. And, I mean, that's really interesting. Or they could keep a three-car team, keep McDowell, put Nemechek in the 36 or 38, and then that other car, whether they put him in the 36 or 38, could go to possibly Daniel Suarez or Corey LaJoie. I mean, really, possibly many people here. So brings up lots of rumors and lots of speculation of to what's going to happen there next year in silly season over at Front Row Motorsports. Remember, it's a Ford team. All right, next set of news we have. All right, this one's pretty cool. Daniel Hemric, as we know, is no longer going to be racing in Cup Series 4. Richard Childress racing in that 8 car that's going to Reddick. Daniel Hemric will be part-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year in 2020 in the 8 car for Junior Motorsports. Yes, 21 out of the 33 races he will be doing, 11 of them in that 8 car will be Jeb Burton, and one of them will, yes, be Dale Earnhardt Jr. None of those races of actually like what tracks they will be at have been announced yet. None of that's been announced. Just the amount of races each driver will do. Those are just 3 drivers. Lots of those drivers that have been in that car this year are not returning to that car next year. So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, so Hemric is the majority, the front runner of those, doing 21 of the 33. That's a lot. Burton, Jeb Burton doing 11, and Dale Jr. doing 1. But I wonder where that race is. Has not been announced yet. And yeah, Hemric in the 8 car once again, just like this year, except it's in Xfinity and a completely different team. Stay in the Chevy system. And yeah, this part-time schedule opens him up to maybe doing some more Cup races. What team, we don't know, but doing some Cup races, and that's a good thing for Daniel Hemric. He will be fighting for the Owners' Championship and fighting for wins, of course, obviously not eligible for the Drivers' Championship. And yeah, Daniel Hemric, I'm going to be honest with you, I expected this to happen. I thought it would be full-time, though, not part-time, but it is part-time deal. And yeah, so Daniel Hemric, Good option, and it's really, you know, he's from Kannapolis, so it's pretty awesome for him to be racing for the Earnhardt family, of course. All right, now a little tiny bit of news here is Dixie Vodka is now a has signed a multi-year deal with NASCAR to be an official partner. So that's nice to see there. Yes, Dixie Vodka, and they will have like bars open at Daytona and stuff. And next year they will be the entitlement sponsor for Homestead race next year, which will not be the championship race next year. And Daniel Suarez. Well, let's start with this. Let's start with this rumor, this tiny rumor first, and then we'll get to the crazy Suarez stuff. All right, so this small rumor is DGR Crosley could possibly not be Toyotas anymore next year and go to Fords. That's pretty interesting. Corey LaJoy on his Sunday Money podcast alluded to this. And yeah, that's pretty interesting because the only Ford team in the Truck Series right now is ThorSport. And if DGR goes to Ford, that means there's two, well, unless somebody else switches, but those two Truck Series teams that are Fords. That's pretty interesting. They're Toyotas currently, though. And Ankrum has won a race, and he made it to the round of 6 in the playoffs this year. All right, so let's start with the crazy, crazy news. Daniel Suarez, all right, who races in the 41 for Stewart-Haas Racing, full-time in the Cup Series. His contract's still up in the air with Eris, his sponsor, his main sponsor. And they had negotiations a couple weeks ago with the sponsors, of whether to sign that deal back. And we haven't gotten any confirmation since. So this is suggesting possibly that Suarez is out of that 41. And we know if Suarez is out, Custer's go to that 41. And possibly the big decider here is if Custer wins the Xfinity Championship this week. If he doesn't, Suarez stays. If he does, Custer goes to the 41 and Suarez goes elsewhere. But where would Suarez go if Custer, of course, went there, if Suarez does not stay with the sponsorship there, obviously. And where would Suarez go? Could he go to front row, like I mentioned, since Tiff's out, and we know Reagan's out, obviously, and who knows about McDowell, honestly. And so Suarez, there's been some big rumors besides front row here, and even though that's a Ford team like SHR, big rumors. He could go to a third Richard Childress racing car. That's crazy, especially since they booted Hemric, which we know he's having a part-time Xfinity ride for the 8 for Junior Motorsports next year. They could, since they booted Hemric and put Reddick in that car full-time, that 8-car Cup car. Well, Childress wanted to open a third car up to put Reddick in and have Hemric as well, but Hemric didn't have that sponsorship, so that he had to choose between Hemric and Reddick. He chose Reddick, but Suarez has Eris behind him, so it seems if Custer wins that Xfinity Championship, and if they put Suarez or put Custer in that 41 full time, then they would put Suarez could possibly go to a third Richard Childress racing car because he has sponsorship from Eris. So it's all because of his sponsorship that Richard Childress Racing could open up a third car, and Richard Childress has wanted to do this for a while. He wanted to do this with Hemric and Reddick, but the sponsors just weren't there. But with Suarez, it seems like they are, and it'll probably be the number 31 car. So, that's really interesting. Another rumor is that he goes to Richard Petty Motorsports, but Bubba has a contract, so I doubt that. And, even though Bubba spun and he's causing all these controversy, so who knows what's going on with Bubba anymore. But, so that's really interesting. Where would Suarez go? Maybe Suarez and his sponsors, he gets enough sponsors and he decides to stay at Stewart-Haas Racing. Because Gene Haas and Tony Stewart want him to stay. They do, but it's really with that sponsorship, and maybe Gene Haas is waiting to see what Custer can do, and they're going to put him in that car, and then Suarez goes elsewhere, possibly to a third Richard Childress car. Oh man, that's pretty crazy. Maybe front row, who knows? Maybe drops to the 00 in Xfinity for Stewart-Haas Racing, because if Custer went to the 41, that's where he is now. So yeah, lots and lots of crazy stuff going on here. So yeah, Matt Tifft out next year, not going to be racing at all full times, but not with front row, obviously. And Hemric going to the 8 in Xfinity part-time for Junior Motorsports next year. Good to see him finally get a ride. So that opens front row cars, and that means Hemric is not going to front row. Maybe he could do some part-time races, even though since he is part-time in Xfinity. and DGR Crosley rumors, huge Suarez rumors, and Dixie Vodka, official partner of NASCAR now, official vodka of NASCAR now. And yeah, they signed a multi-year deal. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. And I will see you on the next one. I will be at Homestead, Miami this weekend for the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series race. Tony Stewart will be the honorary pace car driver on Sunday for the Cup Series race in a 2020 Ford Mustang GT 500. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye, guys.